there, and welcome back to another episode of Cutting Through It. I'm Sherry Brody, and today's conversation that I want to have with you today, it's kind of heavy on my heart. One of the things that I pay attention to all the time is the conversations that hairstylists are having around me. Sometimes that is through a coaching call I might have with somebody, or a message I've received, or just discussions that I see happening online. And I listen because I really want to know what's going on with new hairstylists and what you're struggling with, and I want to help you with that. And recently I came across a online conversation that a hairstylist was having, and I felt like I wanted to talk a bit about it today because it really hit home for me, and I think it's something that a lot of hairstylists today are struggling with. So this hairstylist had been working in a salon suite for a couple of years. And what happened was the overhead had become more than what she could do. It had come to a point where she had to make a difficult decision, and she decided to move out of the salon suite and go and rent a chair in a salon. For her, it was absolutely the right move financially because it gave her the room that she needed to breathe, and it allowed her to just be able to work toward her bigger dream, which was she wanted to have her own salon eventually. But what really stopped me in my tracks, and it really made me want to have a podcast episode on it, is that it's what she said. She said emotionally, she felt like she was moving backwards. And, she said she felt like she was losing her identity of her own business because now she was working in another salon. And I want to talk to you about that today because I think a lot of us as hairstylists, we unknowingly tie our identity and our worth as a hairstylist on where we work instead of the value that we actually bring to our chair. I currently today, I rent a chair from in a really adorable boutique style salon environment. And I've owned a couple of big salons. Well, actually one large salon and then a small salon. And then I had my own salon suite. And honestly, it's just because the season of life that I'm in right now, it works perfectly. But I don't feel like I've lost anything. I still have my own business name and my own business branding, but it's within another salon. And so I want to talk about that today because a lot of you hairstylists really feel like owning a salon suite, it just somehow makes you more successful than working in a commission salon or renting a chair. And I want to encourage you today and share a little bit about that because I have worked in every type of salon environment there is. And I've also owned a salon that was both commission and rental. And I just want you to know that whether you're working in a commission salon or you're renting a chair or you're working in a suite or dreaming of owning your own salon one day, today I want to help you choose the environment that's right for the season of your career that you're in right now. Hey there, and welcome to Cutting Through It. I'm Sherry Brody, and after more than 40 years working behind the chair, rebuilding my business multiple times, making plenty of mistakes, and learning some hard lessons along the way, I've discovered what really works when it comes to building a successful business working behind the chair. That's what this podcast is all about. This is where I share those lessons with you. All my stories, my successes, my failures, and the things, most of all, that I wish someone had taught me when I was starting out. My hope is that what I've learned can help you avoid some of the struggles I faced, build your business a little faster, and create a career behind the chair that you truly love. So if you're ready to learn from my successes, my mistakes, and everything in between, you're in the right place, my friend. Let's dive in. Hey, one quick thing I wanted to share with you before we get into the episode, because I know firsthand one of the biggest struggles that we have as a hairstylist, especially when we're just starting out or if we are choosing to open our salon or a salon suite or rent a chair, getting clients in our chair is on us. And I want to share with you that I have put together, it's a short training, maybe 20 minutes, and I've added a free checklist. It's called 5 Easy Ways to Attract Clients and Fill Your Chair. And these are the 5 things that I have done each time I've had to rebuild. and it's gotten the clients in the quickest. And I wanted to share that with you so you'd have an easy win just to help make the stress of being a hairstylist and starting out or rebuilding a bit easier for you. If that is something that you're like, yes, I need that, then you can get it free at On Point Hair by Sherry, SHERRI.com, free training. And I'll also link it in the show notes below. There's something that I want to just bring to the table before we even really get into the meat of this whole episode. And that is, I want to talk about comparison that we as hairstylists do. And I think, what I mean by that is that we compare ourselves to what we see on social media. We see somebody that's opened their own suite or their own salon, and they're like, posting these beautiful pictures, and they're just feeling like they are just making it and raking it in and doing great. But I want to challenge you with that. First, I want you to stop comparing yourself to stylists that are in a different season in their career than where you are at now. When you're making a choice about where you want to work, you have to be real about where you are at in your journey as a hairstylist. You see, there's so many things that you don't see when you are looking at a salon owner or a salon suite owner or that stylist that's showing beautiful salons and all this work. What you're not seeing, and this comes from my own experience, is you're not seeing the overhead that they have. That increases. The bigger the salon, the more overhead you have. When you have a full salon, you have payroll. You're the one that has to pay for the repairs. When you're even a small salon suite owner, you've got to have insurance. You're going to pay your own taxes. There's just a lot more stress there because the success is all on you. And as a salon suite owner, I can speak to the loneliness of it, the isolation of it. That's not something that a lot of hairstylists speak about. But when you are working in a salon suite environment, although it is very intriguing and it sounds great and you can create your own environment, just from my own experience, it can get a little bit lonely. I think there's a lot to say for being around other hairstylists that are creative and are trying to, succeed just like you. When you're working in a salon suite, you don't have that air of being around a hairstylist. I don't know how to put it into words, but it makes a huge difference. And I can tell you that there was times I got a little bit lonely, and that's why right now I am choosing to be in a salon environment and renting a chair, because I felt it to be a little bit isolating. And, the last thing, when you are your own boss, you have some sleepless nights. When you're building it, you're starting out, when you have a salon, you have to make sure the chairs are full and with stylists and clients. And there's just so much that you've got to think about before you even jump into it. And I think, when I think about the gal that really inspired this episode, I think about how this person was feeling. She probably was looking at all that, the excitement of it and the grandeur of it, and feeling like this is a success if I have my own suite. And so many times this happens, and then we jump in and we do it, and then we're there in the muck of it, and we're faced with so many more things that we didn't even plan on. And so I want to share first, success isn't always what it looks like on Instagram. You're not seeing the backstory of everything and the reality of it. And the truth is, there isn't a perfect salon environment. There isn't. Everywhere you go, there's going to be something. So I want to make sure that you're aware of that, and that I can't repeat this enough, that there's only one right environment for the season of your career that you're in right now. So as we get through this episode, I want to share with you some, what each environment is, and just help you come to a place of confidence and just reality. I want to be real with you about what each environment is. And I'm going to speak to you from my own experience, because I have been through it. And that's what this whole podcast is about. Sharing with you from my experience to help you make good, confident choices in your career. So as I go through it, just really be thinking about it. It would be great if you was able to take some notes and then go back and really think about, first of all, where you're at and be real with yourself, where you're at on your journey, and then really take a look at all the pros and cons and the things that I share with you for each environment, and really take some inventory and see what you're ready for. First of all, the first point I want to make out is that every salon environment has a trade-off, every single one. So let's talk about the commission first, all right? Commission salons, the pros of it is, usually in a commission salon, you're going to have some built-in clientele when you start out. Usually a salon like this is going to have a lot of support for you, especially if you're newer in the industry. You're going to have more support from the seasoned stylist in there to help you grow your business and help you grow in your skills. I think it's a real positive and it's just a really good thing when you're growing and you're young as a hairstylist to really be in the environment where there's other successful seasoned hairstylists to look up to and to learn from. But when I talk about a built-in clientele, what I mean is that the salon already has a reputation. So you're naturally going to get, because everybody in the salon is working for the whole of the salon, they're working as a team, that you're going to have more access to the clientele that's coming in there. It doesn't mean that you don't have to help yourself build. We all have to. I will say it till I croak, but your chair is your business, and it doesn't matter what type of salon you're in. You have to, if you want to build fast and be successful, it's up to you. You've got to be proactive on it. But there's a less financial risk here too with commission. I mean, when you're in a commission salon, the owner of the salon is providing all of your color, all of your back bar. You've got built-in retail there. Usually there's a commission that you're going to get on top of that as well. Usually there's training. Like I said, you're going to get your training so that you can get your feet on solid ground. And as a stylist that's been doing it for a little while, it's nice to be in a commission salon, because a lot of times commission salons will bring in educators and, help grow your skills so that you don't get bored and you continue to grow. And sometimes salons will have benefits. I know for me in my salon, we did offer some 401k plans. And towards the end, we started thinking about offering insurance, but that was a real tough thing. That's another story for another time. But a lot of times in commission salons, some of them will offer insurance benefits as well. So that's some pros for commission. So for me, if you are a hairstylist that, you want to be in a place where you can learn and grow and you don't have the financial burdens of anything, then I would go with commission. The challenges are on a commission is that you do have less control. Like, you are working in a salon, it's not your own business, so you have less control over like the branding and the environment and that kind of thing. You're probably going to have schedule expectations when you work in a commission salon, and that's to be expected. And when the work that you do behind the chair, there's going to be a commission split. You have to remember that the salon itself has to keep its doors open. It has a huge overhead. And even just to bring in training and to train you and to have all the products there's so much to do with payroll and all kinds of things that they need to take their part of your service that you do to pay that. And then they want to have to be able to make something on that as well. So you're not going to get the full amount of money that you do behind the chair. But I want you to remember that I hear a lot of people complain about this. Well, like, I only get 40%. Well, you got to look at what you are getting for that. You're not the owner of a salon. When you own a salon, the owner, I can tell you from my experience, there's so much you don't know that I know for me, I paid more than I should have to my stylist. Before I got the coaching, I was paying more for my stylist's commission, and I was losing. I was struggling a bit because I didn't have a strong system in place to really evaluate what I should be paying. So I want to share that with you, because you need to remember that as a stylist, that when you do get commission, there's a reason why there's a split. Remember the benefits that you're getting from that. So a commission salon is going to be best for a newer stylist. It's you're wanting to build confidence, you're learning, or a hairstylist that really wants to be around a team environment and wants to have that support and wants to be part of a team that's going to grow as a whole. So let's talk a bit about renting a chair in a salon. The pros of this are you have more freedom for yourself. You are able to have your own business name within the business. So we think about it as when you're renting a chair, it's like a mall of hairdressers. You're literally, but they're chairs instead of separate stores. You have more freedom to come and go as you please. You set your schedule. You're going to be able to set your pricing. A lot of chair rental salons will even let you have your own products. It's much lower overhead than a salon suite for sure, because you usually, like the salon that I'm in, she does provide the back bar, and she provides the refreshments for the clients, and you don't have to worry about the cleaning people or anything like that. Everything is there. You worry about your own station. It's just more independence, but yet you still have a community there. You still are around other hairstylists. And I think there's a lot to that, to be around other stylists. I just feel like it just keeps you motivated. I think being around other hairstylists that are even better than you, I think that's really important, because it helps to keep you striving to be better than you are. And it challenges you. I think you can become very, bored, I guess is the word I'm looking for, and stagnant in your business if you're not challenged at all. So the challenges of it are that you are responsible for your own business. So you're going to have to, pay your own taxes quarterly. You're going to have to be aware of how much product you need to have for your color and your back bar for that. You got to learn to run it as a business at this point. There's a lot of other, you're probably going to you have to get liability insurance. You have to have a business name. You have to get a business license. All that stuff you have to have when you're responsible for your own business. You're also going to be responsible for marketing yourself. Now, you can't you can be in a salon like the salon that I am in has a very good reputation. And so we do get a lot of clients that do know of the reputation. So they do come to the salon. So some of the stylists that are building their business, they do benefit from that. But that's not enough for them on their own. They have to market themselves. So you have to put a marketing plan in place so that you're able to build quicker. It's up to you. If you want to be successful, now it's totally up to you. And we already spoke about expenses, to make sure that you know before you even go into it, the expenses that you are going to be incurring. It's like, I like to say, when you become independent like this is where you're going from being an employee to independent. You need to have a good business plan in place before you even start, if you want to start renting, because that's where you'll be successful, because there's nothing worse than getting into it and not even realizing the expenses that are going to incur. So this, a chair rental is for somebody that's wanting to be independent, but without carrying every single expense alone. But then you move into the salon suite and as a full salon owner. So the pros of a salon suite is you build your own brand, you build your own style, you can decorate it the way you want, you have a lot of privacy, you control everything. The challenges is you have a much higher overhead, because then you are responsible for everything, down to the refreshments to your clients, keeping it clean, all that stuff. I'd say the challenge too is that the isolation of it, we've talked about that earlier, and you're just responsible for everything. So that could be a challenge for some people. The pros of it are if you're ready for that and you have a full clientele and you like to work on your own and you want to be in control of everything, then that's a pro for you. So this, salon suite, that is best for you when you are a hairstylist that has an established clientele and you really enjoy running a business. This is a great thing for you. If you are a hairstylist that does not have a full clientele, you have not worked independently on your own at all, I just tell you, this is a hard win here if you go right into that. When you move into a salon owner, this is a big deal. When you become a salon owner, you're responsible for everything, just like a salon suite, but now you're responsible for hiring, and you got to be a leader and lead the people that are there. You're responsible for payroll. Anything that's a repair anything that needs fixed, you're the person. You're going to deal with conflict. If there's a stylist in there that has a client that's, hard to deal with, and you're the one they're going to go to. You're responsible for all the marketing, and you are responsible, and it's a heavy, heavy load that you have to keep everyone happy. And not everybody is cut out for this. I know of one gal that I trained early on when I owned my salon, and she is a natural at this. She has owned a few very, very successful salons, and she's just a natural at all this. It's comes naturally for her. And she chose to do it at the right season in her life. So owning a salon, a full salon, it's a whole nother job in itself. It's almost, I would say, an entire different career. When I owned my salon, I stepped back from working behind the chair because I needed to work on my business in order for it to be successful. So as you can see, going through these and talking about the different types of salon atmospheres, it's so important to understand and being real with yourself on the season that you are at in your career. Because when you jump in, and I've seen it so many times, jumping in too soon to renting a chair or owning a salon suite, too many times stylists jumping in and not being prepared for the overhead. And then feeling like this one gal who I admire her because she was able to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I need to step back from the salon suite because there's too much overhead. I need to back off, but I still want to be independent. So I'm going to go into a salon and rent a chair. And from the way it sounds, she's picked a salon that has a very good brand and a good reputation. So she's made a good choice. But what she's feeling is like she's made a mistake or she's like not as good, when in essence, she's making a very responsible choice. And that is what makes her successful. And that's what I admire about her. And she's doing her own thing. And I think why she's second guessing herself is because she's on social media and she's comparing herself. And that's why in the beginning of this, I was sharing with you that we mustn't compare ourselves to what we see online. You can look at it and go, wow, I want to be like that. That's one thing. But to say, oh, I'm never going to be that good, or I don't see how I could be that good, and allowing it to bring you down, that's where you're hurting yourself. So I really, really encourage you to not compare yourself. Be real with who you are. Don't make decisions based on ego. Like, example, I should own a salon, or I need to own a salon suite. Everyone else is doing it. Instead, ask yourself this question: what environment should I be in right now that will help me reach my future goals? So if your future goal is to own a salon suite or a salon, then you need to think about where you're at and what you need to do to get there. And maybe it is working in a place that you can learn from others, okay? And the point that I really want to drive home here is that the business that you're building behind your chair, it's not an actual building. Your clients come to you because of you, your personality, what you share behind the chair, what consistency you show in the way you service them and the quality of the services that you do, your skills, your expertise, they come to you. And they, most importantly, all this comes together. They come to you because of how you make them feel, your reputation. In other words, this is your brand. And your brand will go with you everywhere you go. So remember that. You, my friend, you are your business, not the building that you're in. Instead of asking yourself, like, what looks successful, ask yourself, what can I comfortably afford right now? What season of life am I in? Do I even enjoy managing people? That would be for a salon owner. Do I want to be part of a community? Or do I want independence? What supports my family right now? What is best for my family? And where do I ultimately want my business to go? I just want to remind you too, it's okay to pivot, because business owners, we always have to pivot to stay successful. Successful people always pivot. Strong people pivot. Pivoting isn't quitting. Pivoting is adjusting your strategy. And I share that because I had two extremely successful people in my life. There was a time in my life that I had to walk away from my salon and my life. And both of them shared with me, they were humble enough to share with me how they had failed, how they had to pick themselves up from starting from ground zero again and rebuild. And they said to me, and these people were extremely successful people I admire. And I had no idea that they had been through what they'd been through. And they were the ones that taught me, like, I'm only successful because I knew I needed to pivot. I knew I needed to make a change. I knew what I needed to do to get where I wanted to go. I had to put a strategy in place to get where I'm at. I had to be real with where I was at. So when I share that with you, it's because it's true and I want you to hear me. So just to make sure that all this hits home, take some time to yourself after this episode. Maybe it's tonight before you go to bed. Maybe it's when you have a little break this afternoon while your client is processing. But I want you to journal these questions. Ask yourself, what season am I in? Ask yourself, am I making decisions based on a comparison, or am I making decisions based on wisdom? And this is a big one. What environment supports the business and life I actually want? What you actually want. Not what you think you want, but what you actually want. Really think about that. And what would I choose if I wasn't worried about what other people think? That's a big one, isn't it, you guys? That's a big one, because so many times in my life, I have made decisions based on me worrying about what someone was going to think about me. And those were the worst decisions I made. So I want to encourage you to really think about that. I want you to think about what you want, not what you think other people want you to do, or what you think, or you're worried about what someone's going to think. Like this gal, she went back. She felt like she was stepping back by going to rent a chair in a salon. She's probably going to find out her life is so much easier. And she's probably going to find out that she is super happy where she's at. But the reason she was worried was because she was worried about what people were going to think, and she was comparing herself. So if today's episode encouraged you, I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email. And hey, if you are ready to stop guessing and really become intentional about building your business behind the chair, I'd love for you to check out my course called the Own Your Chair Like a Pro program. This course takes you through 4 intense modules that takes you, knowing how to build a business plan if you are thinking about owning a salon or a salon suite or just renting a chair. It really gives you the guidance for that, but also it helps you to be able to learn how to build your chair intentionally, get clients in your chair that you really enjoy working on, and learning how to keep them long term, and how to show up online so that you are found without even trying. If that's something that interests you, check the show notes below, or visit my website, On Point Hair by Sherry, SHERRI.com, and check out Own Your Chair Like a Pro. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. I hope this episode encouraged you today and reminded you that you're not alone behind the chair. And if it helped you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with another hairstylist who may need encouragement too. And remember, success behind the chair is built one client, one conversation, and one day at a time. I'll see you guys in the next episode.